I think we're almost ready to begin. A couple more chairs or no? I guess not. So, Mary Ann, you can close the door behind you as you can. No, you're the last one. But anyway, I'm Bill O'Neill from the Red Hook Town Board. So, one way or another, I was designated to be MC tonight, but thanks to Jonah, he's written out everything I've got to do. But I am reminded of an old expression by an old-timer, Jimmy Durante, who had this expression. Look at Marcus remembers. Everybody wants to get in on the act. That was his thing. So today, to me, that's like it. Everybody wants to get in on the act. But so it is today. But it is appropriate for this occasion. So on behalf of the town of Red Hook, I would like to welcome everybody to this swearing-in ceremony, this first day of 2016. A couple of little details on the exits, front and back. The restrooms, where it says not an exit, the bar is dark, it's not open. The first thing on the agenda, in addition to welcoming you here to get things going, by introductions to people who have come out of their who have gone out of their way to come here today to support the town of Red Hook and our elected officials who are about to be sworn in. And the only thing I ask is that you hold your applause or your boos, no, but you hold all reaction to the elected officials until after the introductions. And as far as the elected officials go and the honorary introductions, if you would stand to be recognized, whatever. But first, the New York State Senator, Sue Serino. Well, I said don't applaud, but you're going to get it anyway. Red Hook's own Mark Molinaro, Dutchess County Executive. I think he walked here. He didn't have far to go. Representing the judiciary, the Honorable Joan Posner, Dutchess County Family Court Judge. The Honorable Harold Bauman, who is president of the New York State Magistrates Association and also a justice in the town of Liberty. Came all that way. The Honorable Barbara Seelbach, who is the director of the New York State Magistrates Association and also, of course, our town of Clinton justice. The Honorable Dr. Carrie O'Hare, who is a town justice in the town of Stuyvesant up north, and also director of the New York State Magistrates Association. Thank you for being here. From the town of Red Hook, Dr. James Ross, Red Hook Town Board. Sue McCann, town clerk of the town of Red Hook. Sue. Claire Horst, the deputy town clerk for the town of Red Hook. Thank you, Claire. Wint Aldrich, the town of Red Hook historian. There he is. And Christine Shaw, who is the attorney for the town. Somebody said you were here. Christine here? Yeah, you're here. From the village of Red Hook Village Mayor Ed Blundell. Thank you, Ed. The deputy mayor of the village of Red Hook, Brent Kowalczyk. And Jay Trapp, a board member of the village of Red Hook Town Village Board. Here. And lastly, from the village of Tivoli, as you know, we have 3 municipalities in this big town. But from the village of Tivoli, Joel Griffith, the mayor of the village of Tivoli. And the deputy mayor for the village of Tivoli, Emily Major. Emily's here. Okay, I think that's all for the introductions. If I forgot anybody or somebody slipped in, stand up. Now you can applaud everybody. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. And it will be introduced by the Imboden and Martin children. Not yet. allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And those children, of course, are the children of Sarah and Bowden, who just was elected to the Red Hook Town Board, and Jeffrey Martin, who was just re-elected to another term as Town Justice for the town of Red Hook. Yeah. The invocation will be performed by Father Fred Cartier.
Let us pray. Almighty and everlasting God, from whom comes wisdom and understanding, be present, we ask, at this swearing-in ceremony of the town of Red Hook officials who have been duly elected to their respective offices to serve our community, that they, seeking only your honor and glory, may be guided in their discussions and actions for the betterment of our town of Red Hook. Amen.
The next item is a musical selection, which is the national anthem, to be performed by Kate McKeon, the daughter of the supervisor-elect Robert McKeon. You can take that out if you want to sing like a real singer.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly gleaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So now we come to that part of the program you've all been waiting for. There's no lectures tonight or anything like that, or this afternoon. But this is the swearing in of our elected officials. And the first part of it will be the swearing in of the judiciary, the judges, who then will be swearing in other elected officials. So it will be introduced by the Honorable Harold Bauman, who will do the swearing in of our justices. Okay.
Jonah, would you raise your right hand? Thank you for having done so. Would you repeat after me? I, say your name,
I, Jonah Treebwasser,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will administer justice without respect to persons
that I will administer justice without respect to persons
and do equal right to the poor and to the rich,
and do equal right to the poor and to the rich,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as town justice of the town of Red Hook,
as town justice of the town of Red Hook,
under the Constitution and laws of the United States
under the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of the state of New York.
and of the state of New York.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Judge Bauman. It's a great honor and privilege to be sworn in by Judge Bauman, who came here today from Liberty and who serves the entire state as president of our State Magistrates Association. Ladies and gentlemen, a very happy and a healthy new year to you all. I have many people to thank, the 12,000 people of the town of Red Hook, for the privilege of allowing me to serve them again as their town justice. I'd like to thank my fellow judges for coming here today. Their exemplar to me is something I follow in my daily work. I'd like to thank Jeff and Michelle Martin and their family. Their friendship means an awful lot to me and to my wife. You couldn't ask to work with a better partner than Jeff Martin. He is a terrific judge, a terrific gentleman, and he's made the past 8 years just a real pleasure. I'd like to introduce the brains of our operation in the court and to thank them. Our court clerks, Nancy Roberts. Nancy's out there somewhere. Nancy, wave and say hi. And Kathy Fell. Kathy? I want to thank the fire company of Red Hook. As you know, this was supposed to be held in Town Hall, but we had so many wonderful neighbors deciding they'd like to come that it would not have been safe to have everybody in Town Hall because of the limited seating capacity. So I want to thank the fire company of Red Hook for allowing us to come here on less than 24 hours notice. And finally, I want to thank my wife, Ellen. We have been married for 42 years. We dated in high school. She's been putting up with me for just about 50 years. And she's a very tolerant person, and her love and support makes all things possible. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Jeffrey, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, say your name,
I, Jeff Martin,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will administer justice without respect to persons
that I will administer justice without respect to persons
and do equal right to the poor and to the rich,
and do equal rights to the poor and to the rich,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me as Town Justice of Red Hook,
all the duties incumbent upon me as Town Justice of the Town of Red Hook,
under the Constitution and laws of the United States,
under the Constitution and laws of the United States and State of New York. We're getting to that.
Getting ahead of me. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was pretty tough. Hard to remember what you're saying there. It's always tough to follow Jonah, but I've learned to do that. I've written a few things down. I've noticed so many people here. We did get a call from the Pope, who expressed his condolences for not being able to be here. Other than that, everybody else is here. I want to say, though, it is a real privilege and pleasure to be here today as one of the 7 officials taking our oath of office. It has been a deep honor for me to work with these officials, each one of them, and I am very humbled to share this day with them and to call them my friends. Thank you to my family, most of whom are here today, which is a minor miracle. Michelle, Kaylee, Maria, Ethan, and Andrew. I find continued inspiration on a daily basis from each and every one of you. Thank you to all of the dignitaries, elected officials, friends, and guests who are here today. Your continued support for all of us is appreciated beyond any simple words which I can say. I am grateful and feel especially blessed to be able to continue the privilege of sharing the bench with my colleague, Jonah Tweebauser. I'm especially grateful for his professionalism, but above all, for his friendship. 8 years ago, we began a path together as judicial colleagues, which very quickly evolved into a deep friendship. Thank you, Jonah. Thank you, Ellen. Most of us were taught as children that actions speak louder than words. As we move to a new chapter here in Red Hook, I wish to acknowledge the many years of hard work and dedication which Sue Crane, outgoing supervisor, and Brenda Cagle, outgoing town board member, dedicated to our town. They deserve a lifetime of gratitude from a very grateful town. No two people in this room deserve higher praise for their actions than Nancy Roberts and Kathy Fell, our court clerks. They have, through their decades of unselfish actions, epitomized the meaning of dedication to public service. The courts would be lost without them. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Kathy. A true Renaissance man once said that the greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. That was Michelangelo. Let us strive to take the better path and to aim high and to find unique ways to achieve our goals. It continues to be my great pleasure to work with wonderful individuals who share these same philosophies. Because of this, I am certain that Red Hook's best days lie straight ahead. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you all.
Well, the final part of the program this afternoon is the swearing in of our elected officials. And you going to swear them in? Oh, the three of you? Well, anyway, I don't know who's going to swear who in. I'm just going to call the names. And so we'll begin with our own Mickey Strawinski, recently re-elected to the Dutchess County Legislature for the town of Red Hook.
I, Mickey Strawinski,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of member of the Dutchess County Legislature
the duties of member of the Dutchess County Legislature
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. I want to thank Jeff for swearing me in today. He's a good friend and colleague in Red Hook. Wish you all a Happy New Year, and thank you all for attending. It's overwhelming to see how many people are here supporting all of us who have worked hard to represent you all. Doug and I and my family who are with us, Jackie and Nat, Andrew and Liz, wish you the best in the new year, and wish you time with friends, family, and loved ones. Thanks to the Red Hook Fire Department, as was said already, for the use of the room on such short notice and for your service to our community. I, too, want to offer best wishes to Sue Crane in her new chapter in her life. She has been a wonderful leader in the town of Red Hook. It's been my honor to be re-elected for a second term in the Dutchess County Legislature, and I'm equally honored to have been selected as the minority leader of the Democratic Caucus. And it's a role that I will be taking very seriously. So between that and the need to assist my sister with care of my dad, I have resigned from my position at Bard College to fulfill these two obligations that I feel ready to do. And I'm very blessed that I'm able to do that. My dad really was the one who started my interest in politics. He was a leader in the electrical union, and my siblings and I watched with awe as he prepared for his union meetings with a passion that I have never seen. And he was a wonderful leader of that organization. As a retired electrician, he continued to do that kind of work, and I really respect him for that. The job of a legislator is to bring information to the people that we represent. And for a number of years, I have done that through my email list and my Facebook presence. If any of you want to be added to that email list, where I not only can alert you about county issues, but events in and around Red Hook, please see me. I have my business card with me that not only has my email, but my phone number on it, and I will be available to all of you if and when you have a concern or question. The only promise that I make to you is that I will continue to keep you informed on the issues that are important to all of us. I believe you should have input, so from time to time I will ask you what your opinion is on some of these issues that come before us as on the legislature. And again, I wish my colleagues who have also been elected the respect and camaraderie of their fellow board members. I extend that out to all of the elected officials who are being sworn in these next couple of days. So I thank you for your support and wish you all a wonderful 2016.
Yeah. Next is a man who was just elected supervisor for the town of Red Hook, with whom we shall all be working, and he will be sworn in next.
Where's my wife? Where are you?
Painting Dr. McKeon.
Where are my daughters? Isabella, where are you?
Ladies,
Isabella, where are you? Oh, Jake. Thank you.
all right.
I hope we do better than this. How about we put it in?
Please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I, Robert McKeon,
I, Robert McKeon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of supervisor
the duties of the office of supervisor
of the town of Red Hook
of the town of Red Hook
according to the very best of my ability.
according to the very best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Joe, now. And thank you all for taking time out of your holiday to spend with us here in the firehouse. It means a lot to us that you would be away from your friends and family. It's another great example of how this community comes together, and I want you to know that I'll always remember this. To the fire company, thank you so much for the last-minute change of location. Who does last minute better than the fire company, after all? Your members are critical for our success as a community. Teresa, thank you and your crew for setting up 2 places for this lovely event. I too would like to echo the sentiments and thank Sue Crane, who could not be here today with us because she has an ailing family member. She's done an outstanding job. Brenda Cagle, you only get a timeout and then we want you back. I would also like to thank all the volunteers that walked petitions, gathered signatures, did whatever they could do to help with the campaign. I thank you for your generosity of your time and your efforts. People of many or no political parties were all involved in getting these wonderful folks elected to serve you. There are too many to name, so I won't begin to do that now, but I have to mention my doctor, co-farmer, and my incredible wife, Libet. She continues to juggle more when it would appear impossible that one human being could do as much as she does. My family, thank you for your encouragement. But I want to tell you my thoughts today are also with the people of this great town, this great community that we live in. So many of you opened your doors for me on the campaign trail, often with enthusiasm. At a time when many people are choosing to drop out of the process. It is so encouraging to see folks who are eager to share their thoughts, their ideas, their hopes, their fears. See what I mean about the fire company and why we need them? And so many of you told me that you were actually looking forward to casting your vote. So I think it's really a tribute to this community. The process is in place, and we thank you very much for participating in it. I have to tell you, I'm one of those strange individuals. I just love going door to door. It's a gift to get an opportunity to talk to you all, and I invite you to come into town hall, into the office to speak with me. I may even go door to door, during the course of the term because it was so much fun. The process also allows me an opportunity to figure out what's important to all of us and to begin to build a framework on what to work on. And since we are in this together, I want to share with you just a few of the most common thoughts that our neighbors had. Here are some of the things that they want. Protect us against overdevelopment. Expand recreational opportunities for people of all ages. Make it affordable for average working families to remain here. Preserve our small town culture and historic properties. Protect our natural resources, and expand clean energy opportunities. And of course, support our local businesses and our village centers. The good news is that there are lots of things, lots of steps that we can take in order to achieve these goals. And I'm not going to go over all of the things that we're thinking about now, but I want to tease you with a few words. Community solar farm. To finish powering our municipal buildings. A farm big enough that also 200 houses could participate in the process. We're updating our historic district zoning to protect some of those important properties that are part of our rural character, add to our tourism, and also add to our pride of our community. We have a very significant challenge, and I'm glad we're in this room to talk about it. We have a volunteer fire department and emergency responders. We are at risk of losing that, and that could happen sometime soon. If that's the case, many of our residents won't be able to afford to live in this community. So we're going to take a look at some incentives in order to attract and retain these folks. Workforce housing. Stay tuned. Fortunately, most of our residents reported just how fulfilling their lives are living here in this community. People everywhere are in search of a place like Red Hook. Our beautiful historic working landscapes are rivaled only by the down-to-earth people that live in this town, that come together and help each other. Our dedicated local officials and town and village employees are complemented by people throughout the area that volunteer and do it often. Our educational institutions, whether it's public Red Hook Central or private Bard College, are innovative and they're inspiring. Our athletes and sports enthusiasts, you have new partners in town. They're called artists, and they've got game. It's not a coincidence that so many folks are relocating to our community, and that approved developments now total more than at any time in a generation. We must be extremely careful as we evolve to make sure we don't lose our identity. You can count on me to work collaboratively with our terrific town board members. You and this town deserve my best. You will get it. I wish you a healthy and a happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Next up is Harry Colgan, my colleague on the town board, who was just recently re-elected to the town board, to be sworn in.
I needed a committee to help me here. Over there somewhere. No, on that side. Three of you are supposed to hold the Bible. It's big, it's heavy. No, there's a spot on the floor. Yeah.
I, Harry Colgan,
I, Harry Colgan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the Town of Red Hook Board Member
of the Town of Red Hook Board Member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. I must say that the last 8 years that I've been on the board were probably the most satisfying years of my life. The fact that I raised several young children preempts that. I've had now 8 years. I have been very much engaged in supporting and assuring a positive future for the community. I hope the community is a better place as a result of my service in that time. To run for a third term, the most I could say is I will give you more of the same. My goal is to make, it's a very broad brush goal, to make Red Hook the best place for all of us to live. I have made many friends on this job. I tend to be on the streets of Tivoli or in the streets of Red Hook, and it's one of my pleasures to have pick up conversations in town. So I've come to accept anyone who lives here as a personal friend, and rarely has that not come to fruition. So I look forward to another 4 years. I'm here, available, and willing to talk to any one of you. Sometimes we don't always agree, but we usually can come to a reasonable conclusion and make things happen for the best of all of us. So thank you. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to working for you for 4 more years.
Next, we will be swearing in the most newly elected member of the Red Hook Town Council, Sarah Imboden, who is a very successful and popular young woman who was elected on her first try.
Sarah, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Sarah Imboden,
I, Sarah Imboden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Town of Red Hook Board
the duties of the office of Town of Red Hook Ward
according to the very best of my ability.
according to the very best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
So they'll be at every town board meeting. We hope you'll join us. Is it enough to just say ditto to what everybody said? They haven't left me with a whole lot to say, but
I want to thank my family.
wild and crazy as they are, thank you very much for supporting me in this endeavor and in everything that I do. My husband Jonathan, and that's Edith and Isaac. And you know, like many of you who volunteer or work for the town, I sort of fell into it as a CAC member about 5 years ago. And I've so enjoyed serving with that committee and then later with the Intermunicipal Task Force and also as a writer and editor for the Observer newspaper, which I really saw as public service. But with the CAC, I want to especially thank Brenda and Lori Husted, our chair, who I don't think could be here, for helping me learn the ropes of volunteering with the town and making it such a pleasure to work for all of you. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to serving with all these fine people. If I couldn't serve with Sue Crane and Brenda Kegel, then I'm very honored to serve with Robert and Jim and Bill and Harry, who I know will help me learn the ropes. And maybe I can shake things up a little bit too, we'll see. But anyway, I'm honored to serve with you and for you for the town of Red Hook, and I'm excited for 2016. Thank you for coming.
And the last person to be sworn in, but definitely not the least of all, because she is such a successful and wonderful supervisor of highways in the town of Red Hook. But Teresa Burke, re-elected to another term as Red Hook Town Supervisor.
I, Teresa Burke,
I, Teresa Burke,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the Office of Superintendent of Highways
the duties of the Office of Superintendent of Highways
of the town of Red Hook
of the town of Red Hook
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
maybe I won't even have to look at this, but I'm honored to serve as the Town of Red Hook Highway Superintendent. I'm fortunate to have a wonderful crew, and together we're dedicated to maintaining the safety of the roads. I want to thank you all for your continued support, especially my husband John, and wish you a Happy New Year. Thank you.
So we're doing very well. There's just a couple of quick things. If anybody could help out to put chairs away at the end of our session this morning, at the end of the refreshments, which will be served shortly, we would ask that if you can help us do that. There would be a request for some photographs, actually 2 group photographs. One of all the judges present. All of the judges present, if you could hang out just as soon as we're done to get a photograph. And also one of the entire town board of Red Hook with those who represent the town of Red Hook, Teresa, Jeff, and Jonah, Mickey, Mark, and Sue Serino, if you can hang in for that photograph. Those are the particular announcements. We've done very well. You know, it's great to have everybody here and appreciate your work. And Teresa and I think Sue McCann are responsible for the refreshments, among others, but people have already been asking for coffee, I understand, so we got to get done with this. But I didn't want to end this little session by telling you where the exits are in the bathrooms. I want to say something that maybe has some substance to it, and this is it, and I want you to listen carefully. And I thank Sarah M. Bowden. This is a phrase which has been an inspiration to her in her brief career, and I'm sure will be in her future career, and for which we're very grateful. And also for Brenda, who did the immediate research. But a local guy who grew up in Hyde Park by the name of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. One time, I think he said it here in Dutchess County, and he was confronted by a reporter talking about Washington and the local area. This is what he said, and it's really great stuff. The greater part of government, as it affects your daily lives and mine, is your local government. The opportunity in this field of local government for improvement, for betterment that will be felt in your lives is just as great as it is in Washington. So I think on that note, let's all be very proud of our elected officials and congratulate them and congratulate you in their support. Refreshments are served. Anyway, look at that.